Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to my channel, Do Ministry Gaming, and in this video, we are going to do a comparison of Toxic Rain endgame damage between patch 3.13 and 3.14. And as you may already know, in 3.14, Toxic Rain did receive a nerf. Now we will be talking more about that nerf in this video, and we're going to have discussion on how it potentially has impacted the endgame. But first of all, I want to show you a quick montage of clips that I put together here of some in-game boss kills that I did with a Toxic Rain character in 3.13 that I actually made a build guide for, and you can find that in the link in the description below. And I took that exact same character with the exact same gear and the exact same setup with one small change where I had to make some mana reservation changes in order to fit the new 35% mana reservation for Flesh and Stone. But I didn't take away from any of the damage numbers or change any of the damage numbers or change any of the area effect numbers on the skill tree or on the gear. I simply took the amulet anointment that I had, which was Hardened Scars, and changed that to a mana reservation reduction node on the tree. And so this should be a one-to-one comparison between 3.13 and 3.14 for the exact same boss kills. And I tried to do all the bosses in the same way as well. Now, obviously, I can only control so much. There are certain things, that do change within the fights, but I did my best to do them exactly the same way just to see, without making any changes, just how bad were the nerfs to Toxic Rain to the end game. So let's go ahead and play this montage clip right now. It's a lot of the end game bosses, and I've timed each of the kills for 3.13 and 3.14. You can see the timer ticking for each of these kills. Let's get through this montage real quick, and then we're going to dive into a discussion about how I felt about the character now in 3.14. Is this a big nerf? Do I feel like it is? Do I think the build is dead, etc., etc.? Or maybe even what changes do I think we can make in order to make Toxic Rain great again? But spoiler alert, I think Toxic Rain is just fine even as it is. But let's play this clip and dive into that discussion in a bit. All right, so that was the montage clip of the 3.13 kills versus the 3.14 kills with, again, the exact same character, which is the one I'm on here right now. If you want the full details of the character, you can click on the link in the description below to the build guide that I put together for this exact character, which was the Toxic Rain Pathfinder. But just quickly to note some of the key things, in the 3.14 patch nerf, there was a lot of speculation that area effect was not going to be good for the character anymore because of the way they changed how area effect interacts with interpod distance. And I'll tell you, this character that I'm running right here, this is still a Pathfinder. It still runs the Nature's Reprisal Ascendancy node, which is 30% increased area effect. And as a matter of fact, this character has 112% increased area of effect. Okay, so I haven't made any changes to area of effect, and those are the results of the boss kills that you saw. Now, in the boss kills, there were some where I actually killed it faster than I did in 3.13, and there were some notable kills like Baron and Minotaur where it took actually quite a bit longer, to kill. And it is hard to tell because the fights aren't the same all the time, especially for something like Minotaur, who is moving around a lot and going underground. It was very hard to accurately judge the damage. But what I will say is, and this is all subjective and qualitative, but from my experience from playing the character, and I've played Toxic Rain far longer than just 3.13 and 3.14. I will say when I was putting the kills together for 3.14, it wasn't noticeable, the change between 3.14 and 3.13. I didn't step into those kills and immediately say, wow, this feels a lot different or felt a lot worse. Maybe someone with more acute senses can probably tell, but at least from my own experience here, maybe it felt a little worse, especially on like those kills, like you said, Baron and Minotaur, where maybe there was some more interaction or more movement. But you can see with some of the more straightforward characters, bosses, the ones that you can actually stand there and just fight, like Elder, who doesn't move, Redeemer, who you can basically kill before they move. The kill times weren't all that different. Drox. Drox, by the way, I had to split into two parts because depending on whatever animation he's doing at the time of his transition, as it turns out, it actually takes him a different amount of time to transition. And so I had to break that clip up into two separate phases. But anyway, like Shaper Kill felt pretty well the same, but there's just so much going on in terms of the dynamics of the fight and dodging, mechanics and what have you. Like Baron, I can't actually tank his attacks, so I did have to move around a little bit. And so, but anyway, again, subjectively, it didn't feel all that different. So I guess, from my perspective anyway, is Toxic Rain dead? Absolutely not. Even in those 3.14 clips with my gear, which actually, honestly, is not super min-maxed. It is good, but it's not ultra min-maxed. The boss kills were still 5-6 seconds. I mean, that's absolutely just fine, for all intents and purposes, in terms of being able to complete the game, I think, felt fine. So, there was a lot of speculation in 3.14 when the nerfs were announced that, maybe the end game was going to suffer a lot, and, Toxic Rain might be dead. But as you can see from the clips themselves, and again, my own opinion here, I absolutely don't think that's the case. Now, maybe area of effect isn't as good as it was before, and that might be something I might continue to explore a little bit further. There's a lot of talk about, hey, Doom, can you try a concentrated effect? Is that going to be better? I do actually think or speculate for the time being that it is going to be better, but I don't know yet. So there might be another round of testing coming up here. I am preparing for Zizran's Gauntlet here and playing in it for the first time. Hardcore, it's not going to go very well. But anyway, I'm going to be spending the next couple weeks on that. So I may or may not get around to that this league, but I do want to try that. Potentially, if I have time to do the concentrate effect, then can we even make it better than it was in 3.13? I don't know. But for the time being, I absolutely think Toxic Rain is just fine. I also have shown a lot of league start results from earlier in the league. I've got lots of videos on Toxic Rain from earlier in the league as well, which I'll link in the description below as well. I played it in 3.14 as a league start. And again, personal opinion, subjectively, qualitatively speaking, it felt just fine. I cruised all the way to red maps just as easily as I did in 3.13. And so make sure to check those videos out as well. So all the way from, league start experience all the way now to the end game boss killing experience with some good gear. I definitely think Toxic Rain is still alive and well, even if you built it exactly the same way you would have in 3.13. Now, with that said, there is a possibility that increased area of effect is not the play anymore for Toxic Rain, and maybe even Pathfinder as a result. Although I will always still advocate for Pathfinder because area effect is just a very small part of Pathfinder. Pathfinder strength lies in the flasks and everything else that comes with it. And so I'm still a big fan of Pathfinder, but there has been a shift in the meta to Raider, which I think is also fantastic. Raider is also a great class for Toxic Rain. What I mean to say is, maybe you don't need to stack 112% area effect anymore for it to be good. Maybe you can actually stack 0% area effect and run concentrated effect, and it might even be better. Who knows? More testing will come, guys, but I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. I also stream on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Times are in the description below. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.